along the way, you pivoted many careers. You earned a degree in international relation and political science, and like you even served in army, right? So like your journey was anything but a straight line, and it somehow you still managed to make your way to one of the most competitive cities in the world, and right now you are doing what you love. So please, can you walk us through this incredible journey?
Yeah, thank you so much. So basically, like making a long story short, what happened was that I didn't get into into university, and then like every other 18-year-old person in Israel, I was recruited to the army, to the IDF.
Mhm.
And this is where I first discovered basically the whole creative world. I was lucky enough to be admitted to a department that did a lot of like videography, producing, graphic design, video editing. So I was like part of like a small producing team, and we were making movies, videos, stuff like that. And this is where I first discovered this whole world. And I kind of fell in love with it. I started with graphic design and video editing, and I really loved it. And then after 2 years in the army, I didn't want to continue and have an art an army career, I think. So I decided to leave the army, and I was looking for a job, and I didn't have any like experience, not something really to show up for. So I was just looking for junior roles, basically applying to everything from being like a secretary to a junior marketer, kind of trying everything and anything until I can get a job that can pay my bills. I also moved away from my parents' home, so I needed to pay the bills somehow. And I honestly didn't care. I just knew I didn't want to be a waitress because I wanted to have a real job, kind of to start meeting people and engaging in like a real career. Not that waitressing is not a real career, but I wanted something a little different and like an office and stuff like that. And then I was lucky enough to somehow, honestly, it's all thanks to my first manager, to somehow land a very junior position as a social media and creative manager in a startup that was called Jolt. It was quite big back in the day. They have just like raised a lot of money. They were expanding worldwide. So I landed a job there. And this is basically where it all started. This is how I first got started in social media management and marketing, because I met the marketing team and I needed to learn everything that is like marketing related, social media related. Um, and yeah, but honestly, after 6 months, and this is actually something very interesting about the tech industry, and I think everybody, like every person that goes into the tech industry needs to notice that companies, like they rise and they fall very fast. So after 6 months, this startup actually like crumbled to
Oh.
pieces. They didn't have any money left from the investors, and nobody wanted to invest in them anymore. So they basically fired all of us. It was just like a random Sunday. We came to the office and they were like, listen, guys, we don't have money. We're so sorry. So you need to all go home. We can't pay you anymore. So that was very humbling. I was just like 20. It was my first job, and I was fired after 6 months. But yeah, this is how it all started. And if you want me to go into like what happened after, I'd love that. But yeah, this is like where it all started, basically.
Wow, that's such an incredible story, and it is really an reminder for all of us to really trust the process.
Definitely.
Yep. So now let's dive a bit into personal branding. So you have said many times it's not about being an influencer or chasing cloud, but about attracting the right kind of opportunities. So for someone who is just starting out, what does building a personal brand actually mean in today's world?
So I think personal branding is first of all for every person. It's not just for somebody. A lot of people think that personal branding equals being like a content creator, which is it's definitely not in my perspective, especially for people that are just starting their career. It's a bunch of things. So it can be being visible online, so creating content, that's one aspect, but it can also definitely be networking, which is extremely important. It can be knowing how to present yourself in events or like in a job interview, knowing how to basically speak up for yourself when you're introducing yourself to new people. What do you choose to say? How do you choose to describe your story? This is a really big thing in personal branding. So basically, communication between people. Um, it can also be, all the other tactics that come along, like confidence. I think it's really important. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of aspects, and it's definitely not just being a content creator. It's also, for example, even in your job, if you already have a job but you're just good at what you do and you don't speak up for yourself, when it's, I don't know, when it's like in meetings with your managers, you don't share your success, you don't share what happened for the past, like you don't describe it correctly, then other people will speak up for themselves and they will
Mhm,
get that promotion, they will get
mhm,
that raise. And because you're shy and you don't speak up for yourself, then you won't get ahead as fast as you want or as fast as you hope. And other people will just step over you. This is how it is. Like, it's a very competitive world, especially now with AI, it's going to get even more competitive. So you have to be able to speak up for yourself and basically market yourself like a product. So there are like a lots of elements, and it's definitely not just being a content creator and like having more followers and stuff like that. It's definitely more than that.
yeah, definitely. I was also confused at the beginning, like posting content online and personal branding. So, when we talk about building your own personal brand, what is it that we are building?
I think it's basically building your story. So every person, I believe, has a message that they want to deliver, and every person has a story, whether it's their personal experiences and stuff like that. So when you're building your personal brand, you're basically building the story of your life, and you're deciding how this story is going to serve you for better opportunities and how you're going to use everything that happened to you on a day-to-day basis to get ahead. And you're also through through that you're also building your future, because when you think of your personal brand, you need to think of what kind of a person you want to be and what kind of a person you want to be known as. And you are building that with your personal brand. So you need to be very strategic and think, how do I want other people to see me? Do I want to be seen as funny? Do I want to be seen as organized? Do I want to be seen as like a more aesthetic person? Like, every person has a vision of themselves, of how they want others to see them. And
Mhm,
a lot of people, they think that this is something that is basically, um, like, they don't have control over this. A lot of people just take what they have. They think, oh,
mhm.
like, this is where I came from, this is how I look like, this is my personality, and that's it. And then they don't take ownership on their personal brand, and they don't try to actively work on how other people see them. And that's a problem, because then you're letting the fate of the world decide for you. um, and and that's not necessarily something that serves you. You need to be proactive when it comes to this. So it's definitely, personal branding is definitely building your story and knowing how to communicate that to the outside world. And it's also having a vision of your future and basically building this person that you are imagining in your head, and being able to take the tools of personal branding and kind of make a connection between the vision you have of in your head of what type of person you want to be, and making other people see that version of you.
Wow, that is such an wonderful definition. So, to summarize it, it is like something you already are and something you want to present to the world. So, finding the
Definitely.
balance between them. Wow.
Yes.
So, one of the things that a lot of us struggle, mainly beginners, is where do I even begin? Like, especially when you are not sure what your niche is or what you are good at it. So, what suggestion would you like to give to people like those?
So I definitely understand that. It's very hard to begin. Honestly, the only way to find your voice, to find your niche, it's basically to start. Like there is no, I can give a million tips, but there is no better way than just start. It's going to be very messy. I know everybody says that. It's like the most basic advice out there, but there is no secret sauce when it comes to like create like if I okay, so if one thing I could say that it's the probably the easiest thing for most people is to start with creating content on like a platform like LinkedIn. I think that's the because most people they want better job opportunities usually most people that I talk to they are looking for like a promotion or like better salary or they can't find a job as like they can't find a 9 to 5. They're not necessarily business owners, they're not necessarily entrepreneurs. Most people they're looking for just a better job usually. So this is where I come and I say, okay, if this is your goal and you want to just like get ahead in your career, the most easy way to start, I think, is with LinkedIn content and creating content and sharing about your story. But then in this element of like, oh, how do I start creating content? There is no easy way. Like you just need to start. There are so many tools out there like ChatGPT, Canva. Those are like very easy tools. All you need to do is just think of one experience that you can share, honestly, like a challenge, your story, an achievement, something like that, and just start posting about it and be consistent. And in some point, after 3 months, 4 months, half a year, something like that, it will start kind of like becoming a more natural thing. You will start thinking of things that happen to you on a day-to-day basis and kind of turn them into content ideas. So at some
Mm,
point, I promise it will start being more easy, but there is
mm,
no easy way to start. It's always going to be very hard, very difficult. It's going to take you like an hour to write your first post, but at some point, it will get easier. So this is where I personally would start. And when you move over this challenge of like starting to be invisible, this is where you can also start working on like softer skills. For example, confidence. If you
mm,
feel that your confidence is not strong enough when you, for example, sit in a work meeting, but you find that you can't speak for yourself because you're afraid of what others are going to say, what your manager is going to think, stuff like that, then after this, you can start kind of working on softer skills like confidence. Maybe you want to network more. So maybe you can start going to events. But even when you go to events, it's going to be weird at first. You're going to feel embarrassed to introduce yourself to other people.
mm,
You're going to feel embarrassed to walk into a room and you don't know what to do with yourself because all the other people are kind of like, in groups and you're like standing there and you don't know what to do. So it's going to be very weird at the beginning, but you can start with like one event a month. Get over yourself and just stand in a room with your phone. And then in the next event, try introducing yourself to one person. And then in the next event, try introducing yourself to two. So it's honestly, it's like it's a process. You can start with posting a little bit on LinkedIn, get the hang of it. Then start like networking, start building your confidence, start improving
mm.
your communication skills, start watching, start like following people in this field that already have what you're looking for, learn from them. And after a year, it's going to be much easier for you, but you got to start, and it's never easy.
So first of all, you have to take that first step, right?
What?
First of all, you have to take that first step and bring yourself out there.
Yes. Yeah.
So you also mentioned that telling your own unique story is very important. And you being that you bring on this term known as unique voice. So how do you recommend people to find their own unique voice or content over time?
So I think over time it becomes natural. What I think is important though is I know that there are a lot of AI tools out there, and it's very tempting to like give AI a prompt and be like, Write a post about like 10 tips for personal branding, stuff like that. So it's really tempting, especially for example, I'm using a tool, it's called Magic Post, and it generates a whole post from one line. So you give it one subject, for example, I don't know, books that I like in sales, whatever. And it generates a full post for you. Now, this is where I think people need to become mindful about that, because if the only thing that you do is give AI one line and you generate a full
Mm,
post and you just post this post, you will never find your own voice because you're just using AI that
mm,
duplicates what is already out there. Because AI, it can't think for itself, right? It just duplicates what it sees online. And it looks like a something new. Yeah, it looks like a creation, like something new, but it's honestly it's just a replication for other things because this is how AI works. So you do need to use your brain. This is what I tell people. You do need to think of something personal that happened to you and
mhm,
use AI to enhance that. But don't use it to
mm,
just write the how-to generic posts that are on Google, because this is something everybody can find, right? I can type best books on sales and I would see something. But that's not what you want. You want to use your story. So be mindful when you use AI, use it to enhance your story. And if you actually try to speak out your experiences and your story, at some
mm,
point you will find your voice. Like
mm,
at some point it will connect. It
mm,
will start being easier. And honestly, when you start working on like communication skills, confidence, and you talk your story out to people and you talk to people and you introduce yourself, at some point some things are going to become repeatable. So you will repeat the same steps of your story. You will repeat, oh, I am from here, and this is what I do now, and this is what I hope to do. So they will be points that you are going to repeat, and those points are your story. Like those
mm,
9 points that you repeat over and over again, those are basically your story. And it's going to like start and become more and more like structured with time, but it takes a lot
mm,
of practice and a lot of talking about yourself, honestly. You need to talk to a lot of people about yourself because most people, they don't do that. They don't like talking about themselves. They don't like that. They like talking about other people, which is very important. You hear out other people, but you also have to speak a lot about yourself and what your experience is. And you need to believe that other people want to hear what you have to say. Um, and this is basically how it like builds up, in my opinion.
Wow, that's super interesting. I have never heard that advice before. Like, I always listen, you have to listen fully in a conversation. While communicating, you have to listen. But you mentioned that you have to tell your story as well. So, wow, that's a quite interesting point I will keep in mind as well. Um, so, talking about AI, where do you think personal branding is heading in next few years, especially with AI evolving so fast?
I think it will become the norm. So today, when you apply for a job, it's the norm to have a CV, right? You have to have a CV. It's
Mm,
like basic. Um, and it has to look nice. Otherwise, like you you won't go over the first step of like the interview process.
mm,
Um, And now with AI, that is going to minimize the workforce by a lot. Like if a team is now 10 people, then next year it's going to be five. And the year after that, it's going to be two. So AI, like every technology, it's going to minimize people. And personal branding, in my opinion, it's going to become the norm for people who want to succeed. So, like when minimizing the team, the people that would actually stay and have a job would be the people that have a personal brand and would be the people that speak for themselves. So again, it's not just about creating content. It's also, for example, about sitting in a meeting and speaking up for yourself. This is also personal branding. Um, so the people that actually market themselves, I like to refer to this as a product. So the people that actually market themselves and work on their communication skills, work on their confidence, work on their networking skills, maybe are visible online, but definitely are visible offline in the workplace and in their industry, using like actual personal connections. Those are the people that will stay ahead. And I think it's been like that the whole our whole society, right? People that speak for themselves are like getting better opportunities, but it's going to become like extreme. So like it's not going to be, if I'm average and I can just, have like a regular job, not speak too much, not like interact too much, I can still keep my job. I don't think it's going to be like that anymore. I think those people will lose their job with time, because AI, they will just become easier to replace. And when people will think, oh, how can I make my company more efficient? The first people, obviously, you have some professions that will just disappear with time, like customer service. We all know customer service is one of the first things that's going to to disappear with AI. But if you are a great customer server, if you are a person that like knows how to retain customers, it would be much, much harder to replace you with AI. And if you speak every day, you say, oh, my customers, every person that talks to me, they always pay more for the products of the company, like, and you speak for the manager and you say, oh, like I deal with so many cases, like so many complicated cases, AI could never give the same attention to a person. So if you market that thing that you have, like your communication skills, talking about like a salesperson, because, or a customer service person, because that's communication skills basically, if you speak up for yourself, then you will be probably the last one they replace. So they will turn like a team of 20 customer service people into one, but you will be the one that stays because somebody will have to manage the AI tools. So question is, who is
Yeah.
it going to be? Is it going to be you or is it going to be somebody else? So yeah, this is what I think.
Wow. Yeah. So if every technical skill can be replaced by AI, we might as well have a person who is super communicator and who has good soft skill do all those things via AI, right?
Exactly.
Yep. So I was also curious, after you build your personal brand, how can you generate revenue from it?
Oh, so there are a lot of ways to monetize your personal brand. But this is only if you like looking to become an entrepreneur or like a content creator. So if you have a lot of followers, the obvious way to monetize is with brand deals, and
Mhm.
sponsorships. This is like the easiest way to monetize, I think. So, brands, they contact you. Even on LinkedIn, for example, I see many people with the tool I mentioned before, Magic Post. So there are a lot of LinkedIn creators that get paid to to use this tool, and then when they write a post on LinkedIn using this tool, they will say at the end of the post, oh, I use this magic tool, the magic post tool, to write this post in 5 minutes. Here is a link to, you can use it as well. So this is one way to monetize brand deals. If you're looking for brand deals, you either wait till you have a big enough following, or, and this is a much better option, you directly reach out to companies and you market yourself. Again, I'm talking about personal branding. So you don't need to wait for brands to reach out. You can reach out to brands directly and market your services basically as like a creator, and list your prices. This is something that many people do. Another way is obviously digital products, but I would be careful with this one because you don't want to create those how to Google Doc AI things that look like you just generated them in 5 minutes, which is honestly what most people do. To be honest, it's rare that I see a product that it's actually worth paying for. Most products that I see are just like AI generated today, like a
Mm,
PDF or like something like that. I wouldn't pay for that. So if you create a digital product, make sure it's something good and it's something that actually you put your personal experience into it and your personal um personal approach to the product, so it makes it more unique. Um, Another way is if you are a creator in Facebook, surprising, or TikTok, and maybe in the future Instagram, you get paid for views. So in TikTok,
mm,
if you have over a certain amount of views, you would get paid. I don't
mm,
remember the exact stats. I think it's like 0.1%, like 0.1 dollars, like a cent, or I don't remember. For like over 1,000 views, you get a certain amount. I actually started creating content on Facebook as well, and interestingly enough, Facebook has a great monetization option for creators.
mm,
Mark Zuckerberg just mentioned it a few weeks ago. He was interviewed by I don't remember who, but he said that he wants to turn Facebook into a much more creator space, like for creators to create content in.
mm,
And he always advocates for Facebook on how, like, that they are a great platform for creators to actually get paid, which is true because Instagram does not have a creator fund. Like they don't pay you for views still. They used to pay you, they stopped, now they don't pay you. So
mm,
Instagram is like the only way to get paid on Instagram is if you have subscribers, so you can turn your followers into subscribers and create exclusive content, they call it, and then this person pays like $1 a month, whatever, for your exclusive content. So this is a way that you can that you can get paid on Instagram, but it's not by views. um so
mm,
those are other options. Obviously you have YouTube where you get paid for ads and AdSense, and yeah. Another option is affiliate marketing. So if I'm a creator and I have tools that I'm using, um,
mm,
and I share those, I have affiliate links for those tools, and I recommend those tools for my
mm,
followers. Every
mm,
person that gets like the tool for my link or get the Amazon product from my link, I get a commission. So this is
mm,
another great way to make money. And obviously, I think the best way is to start a founder-led brand. So we see a lot of creators doing that. We see like huge creators, right? Like Hailey Bieber, whatever, Selena
mm,
Gomez. They started Rare Beauty, whatever. So those are like founder-led companies because the founder is well known. But honestly, even if you're like a smaller creator, you can still build an actual functioning business. So you don't have to necessarily rely just on your personal brand. Like you obviously rely on your personal brand, but I mean by that that you don't have to like sell products that are your experience and knowledge, or like get paid by the platforms, or
mm,
create or affiliate links. You can actually create like a business. I can create a jewelry brand. I can create a
mm,
coffee brand, like I'm a Chamberlain. So those are other ways that you can do that. And if you have a big enough audience, then it's like a snowball. So your your story and your personal brand makes people connect with you, and then they want to buy your product from you. So the way that basically your business is different from other businesses, let's say there are 5 coffee brands, but
mm.
I am a big creator that talks about coffee and everybody loves my personality, so they will choose my coffee brand. And it's not
Yeah.
because the coffee is better, it's just because
Mm,
I am nicer and people know who I am and people like my personality, so they will buy my coffee. So
yeah.
those are founder-led brands, and we see it much more in the years now. So yeah, those are like many ways you can monetize your personal brand.
Wow, actually, there are so many ways you can monetize. So, after let's say we have built a solid foundation for our personal brand, uh, What we can do for its long-term growth?
Um, for the long-term growth,
Mhm.
I think just like when you start, don't stop. So, like, if
Mm,
you start working on your personal brand and if you take it as a project for yourself and you set up a goal, just make sure you don't stop, even on days that you don't know what to post, even on days that you don't feel like posting, when you don't have time, when, like, I don't know, like all of those things, just make sure you don't stop and get it into a habit at some point, and I swear, at some point, it will come together. For me, it still didn't, but like it's a process. But you have to
yeah.
believe that at some point it will all connect and it will work
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
And anything is better than nothing. Anything, like literally anything. Like posting the most stupid post on LinkedIn is better than not posting anything. To be
Mhm.
honest, like this is how it is. Um, so yeah, when you start, just never stop and remember, like try to tell yourself it's better to show up than do anything. So anything is better. Just don't stop.
Got it. So, all right, we are at about the end of the session. So, before we wrap up, uh, we have to do this quick fire round. So, I will ask you some quick question. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. So, are you ready? Okay. Early bird or night owl?
What? Sorry, what did you say? Orally?
Early, early bird or night owl?
Oh, definitely a night owl. Yeah,
Okay. Tea or coffee?
coffee.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Creative,
Mhm.
stressed, and busy.
Okay. Dark mode or light mode?
Light mode.
Most useful app on your phone?
WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. Most useless app on your phone?
Um, I would never know because I don't use it. Probably the calendar that Apple has. I only use Google Calendar.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Instagram or LinkedIn?
This is a hard one. I think LinkedIn.
Okay. So, office life or work from home?
Office. Office.
Oh, you prefer office. Okay.
I do. Yeah.
One piece of content that you are super proud of.
Mm, I just created a nice video about AI and how I think it's going to affect marketing. So I think this one.
So, you haven't dropped it yet.
Oh no, I posted it like 2 days ago, I think. Didn't work
Oh, wow.
so good, but I I put a lot of effort to it. I,
Wow.
I sourced many B-rolls.
Got it. So yeah, that was it for the quick fire round. So before we go, Sharon, this was seriously gold. You told so many information about the personal branding, which is I truly believe it is gonna be valuable for our viewers. So before you go, would you like to give some of the advice for young people who are trying to build their own personal brand?
I think just go for it. Don't sleep on personal branding. Even if you think you're not ready, even if you think you don't have anything important to say, even if you're before university, just graduated, has a bachelor degree, don't have a bachelor degree, during university, it doesn't matter. Like, if you are in the beginning of your career and you're starting adulthood, work on your personal brand. Don't let other people decide how to see you. Take ownership on this and make sure you are the person responsible